Hi, today we're going to be talking about Test Taking 101, test taking strategies and tips for managing test anxiety. Today we're going to cover what to do before the test, what to do the day of the test, what to do during the test, and how to manage test anxiety. Before the test, you want to get organized. Be sure to write down deadlines for your assignments and projects and dates for quizzes and tests in a calendar or planner, digital or paper, whatever method works best for you. Block out the hours when you're at work, have a family commitment, or have a social obligation. Write in specific times for when you need to start homework and begin reviewing material for tests. Check this daily. Keeping on top of what you need to do will keep your anxiety level down. Understand how you learn best. Do you need to make flashcards? Use sticky notes? Use a color coding system? Maybe you need to organize your notes in outline form. Would it help to rewrite your notes by hand? Can you find a classmate to study with or form a study group? Finally, can you teach the material to someone unfamiliar with the topic? Study effectively. After each class, spend some time going over key concepts that were covered. Review the material while it's still fresh in your mind. If you have questions about anything, now is the time to get answers, since information and concepts build on each other. Reach out to your instructor for help. They are there to assist you and help you succeed. Take advantage of the free tutoring available. Tutors can work with you virtually or in person. Practice. Are there any practice tests available to take? If so, take them with a timer. Write your own list of questions or problems that you think will be likely to appear in the test and answer them. Also, find a student in your class to study with and quiz each other over the material. Don't procrastinate. If you don't understand something, don't put off asking your instructor for clarification. Cramming for a test can increase your anxiety. Set mini goals for what you want to review each day before the test. Also, do any extra credit work that's available. If you tend to procrastinate, ask a friend or a family member to help keep you on track. Being accountable to someone else can make you stay on top of your work. Ask questions. Ask your instructor directly for suggestions on how you can best prepare for the exam. Make sure to understand what format the test will take: multiple choice, short answer, essay, etc. Ask if the test will be open note or open book. Ask if the test is held at a specific time, meaning synchronous, or is just due by a specific date or time, asynchronous. Finally, make sure to understand any technical requirements of the test. Do you need to install any software ahead of time, such as a lockdown browser? Ask more questions. Will you be able to skip questions on the test and go back? Is it possible to review the whole test before you begin? If you have technical difficulties during the test, what procedure does your instructor want you to follow? Are you allowed to look up information during the test? If so, use a different device or open a separate browser so you don't accidentally close a test page. If the test requires short answers or essay questions, can you write your answers in Word and copy and paste them into the test? If so, you have documentation of your answers should you have a technical problem during the exam. Also, before the test, you want to make sure that you're at your physical best. Make sure you get enough sleep, not just the day of the test, but several days before the test. Watch your caffeine level. Don't make changes to your usual caffeine consumption. Eat well and get some mild exercise. Control your environment as best that you can. If you're on campus, make sure to get there in plenty of time. If you have some nervous energy, you can take a quick walk, find your seat, take a few deep breaths, and clear your mind. Tell yourself you are prepared and you will do well. If you're at home, have children occupied, put pets in another room, turn off the TV, radio, etc. Anticipate any other potential distractions. If you have some nervous energy, you can walk a bit, jump up and down, shake it out, and then give yourself a pep talk before you begin. You want to start with a strategy. If you're allowed to have paper and pen during the test, consider immediately writing down any formulas, dates, lists, etc. you're worried you might forget. Read the directions carefully. Don't skim past this part. Know exactly what the instructions are. Glance at the entire test if possible. Think about how much time you may need for different sections and pace yourself accordingly. Understand which parts of the test will carry the most weight. If you are able to skip questions and come back to them, answer all the questions you know first, and then go back to answer the ones that you are unsure of. When you're finished, make sure your test has been properly submitted. Don't refresh the page or close your browser until you know your test has been sent. Now we're going to talk a little bit about managing test anxiety. Anxiety often comes from a place of fear. Can you pinpoint what is making you afraid? And are your fears realistic or unrealistic? Realistic fears have outcomes that might actually happen. For example, if I fail this test, I may have to retake the class. That is possible. But what is the solution to that possibility? If I had to retake the class, I would contact my academic advisor to find out how to do that. So think about controlling your fear by determining what steps you can take to solve a potential problem. Unrealistic fears blow events out of proportion and are often untrue. For example, if I fail this test, it means I never should have gotten into this program. So put your fear into perspective and remind yourself, this one test does not define me. There are other assignments, projects, and quizzes that count toward my grade too. And everyone has setbacks. I can figure this out and do better next time. The visualization method is a way to manage any kind of anxiety, but works especially well with test anxiety. The idea is that we're going to master a new skill by practicing it. Whether it's a physical skill or a mental skill, we need to practice it. Learning how to manage test anxiety is something that you can learn. To do this, we're going to play a video in your mind of how you want to handle a test day. The idea is to crowd out negative thoughts with more positive ones by visualizing yourself managing the day of the test well from start to finish. We're going to practice this method. So close your eyes and take a few deep, calming breaths. And I want you to visualize yourself doing well on the test. See yourself waking up and feeling relaxed the morning of the exam. Imagine feeling calm as you go over your notes one last time before the test. Say the positive self-talk you need to hear. Imagine taking a few deep breaths just before your test begins. See yourself looking at the exam and feeling confident that you can do this. Imagine yourself working through the exam at a steady pace. Visualize a difficult question coming up, but looking at it, giving it your best shot, and moving on. See yourself working through the test slow and steady, feeling very focused. Imagine an anxious thought arising, recognizing it, but then letting it flow past you. See yourself finishing the test and feeling good about how you did. Then see yourself having some small positive reward that same day. Take a few more deep, relaxing breaths and open your eyes. A few tips for making this visualization. You want to find a quiet space and time alone to concentrate. Close your eyes and include as many of your senses as you can when you're making this video. And then spend a few minutes each day practicing your visualization. Why does this method work? Research shows that imagining a stressful scenario and pairing it with positive coping skills in our mind can translate into having better coping mechanisms in the real world. The key is to practice, though. This exercise needs to be consistently repeated to have an effect. What if you start to feel really anxious during the test or you freeze? You can close your eyes, breathe in slowly, counting to 5. Exhale slowly, count to 5. And continue this 3 or 4 more times. You'll begin to feel yourself relax. Then you want to tell yourself you're doing fine and you can handle this test. Then open your eyes and start again. Don't worry about how much time this process will require. It will take under a minute, and if it lowers your stress and keeps you focused, it is time well spent. After the test, congratulate yourself on getting through the test and using some of these test-taking strategies. And remember that not all stress is bad. Stress can motivate us into action. It can tell us to pay attention to something that's important. So use it to your advantage and don't let it get the best of you. And if the test did not go well or anxiety was still an issue, don't be too hard on yourself. It takes time to make changes. You will get better the more you practice these techniques, so stick with it.